Thank you so much for making your trip out here to Corvallis. We're really happy to have you here. My name is Parker Duryea, formerly Parker Ackerman, so if you remember that name, that's me. I'm the Marketing and Communications Manager here for the TallWood Design Institute, and I'm so happy to have you with us. I'm going to keep my introduction short so that we can stay on time today, but just a couple housekeeping things. When you walked in, you should have gotten an agenda for today, so that will give you kind of our order of events. We'll do our best to stay on track, but we have a lot of really interesting content to dive into. On the back there, the back pages are just open for you to write notes and questions. So we'll do each session with a different topic. So we'll have all of the presenters in that session present, and then at the end we'll do Q&A for everyone in that session. So if you have a question, say for the first presenter, maybe jot that down as we go so that at the end you'll remember your question. When we do the Q&A, we have microphones on either side here, so feel free to either go stand in the aisle or raise your hand and we'll have someone run the mic to you. So without further ado, I will hand things off to our fearless leaders here at TDI, so Iain Macdonald and Judith Sheine.
I think everybody here knows us. You can probably tell who is who. Judith Sheine, Iain Macdonald.
I'm Iain Macdonald.
Yeah. So we're going to start talking about some updates for TallWood in general. And I think we need the next slide. Right? Maybe you want to do this one, sponsor acknowledgement.
Sure, yeah. Well, we just want to acknowledge that a lot of the work today that you're going to hear about was funded by the USDA Agricultural Research Service. They have a program where every year we have a internal call for proposals process, and faculty submit proposals, which are then reviewed by a group of industry people. And I think many of you in the room have been on one of those committees where you've reviewed and ranked the research proposals for ARS. Thank you for your service for doing that. It's always a bit of a heavy lift, but we really appreciate it. Some of the work is funded by the Forest Service Wood Innovations Program, and you're also going to hear work that's been funded through the Economic Development Administration's Build Back Better Regional Challenge Program.
So, Iain, I think you're going to introduce the new staff. It's
Right.
actually not the order of it anyway.
Okay, yeah, before we get going with the day's events, did want to acknowledge, first of all, thanks to Parker Duryea. Where are you, Parker? You're, oh, hiding behind me. Okay. Parker really put together today and is responsible for all of the logistics and corralling all the faculty and graduate students and everybody that is going to be contributing to this. So we really appreciate the work. And I also wanted to just, our team has grown in the last year. So we added Victoria Diedrichs, who's over there in the green, as outreach coordinator. And she's been working with us since the spring. And if you go over to the lab after the presentations today and have a look at, what we're doing in the lab, you will probably meet Chloe Contour, who joined us as a machinist also this year. So happy to have these people on board.
Right. And we thought we'd just give a couple of updates on two of our big projects associated with the Oregon Mass Timber Coalition and the EDA Build Back Better Regional Challenge. I think everyone knows who the coalition is. It's us, right? TallWood, Oregon State University of Oregon, the Port of Portland, which led this group, Oregon Department of Forestry, the Business Oregon, and the Oregon Department of Land Conservation and Development. And I think your slide is next. Yeah.
So we wanted to quickly give some general updates on things that have been happening in our world before we go into the presentations on the research. So you guys are probably aware, we've been talking about this for a couple of years. We're building a fire testing lab where we've been working on design with partners, including Lever Architecture and KPFF engineers for a couple of years now. And excited that this little building. So what you can see there is the kind of big rectangle in the back is our existing lab building, and the little square off to the side there is going to be the new fire testing lab. We're going to be adding that, and construction is going to be starting in December, and it'll take around a year to build the building. The fire testing furnace is actually, I'm not quite sure if it's on the water yet, but it's about to embark from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, and start making its way over to us. And we're praying for no big storms, for the next 6 weeks in the Pacific. Really, really great opportunity for us to expand our fire research with mass timber and other materials too. And Erica Fisher, who's sitting over there, is the scientific lead on that project, and many of our team, Phil Mann, our technical manager, and there he is, and Byron Miyamoto, our research manager, who's here somewhere too, I know, have been on many calls with us about that, so we're excited.
And the other big construction project is the Oregon Acoustic Research Lab that is about to be starting construction at the Port of Portland's T2. And that design build team is led by Brad Nile from Anderson. You could raise your hand a little higher. There he is, right. Thanks, with Lever Architecture. It's also going to house the Energy Studies and Building Lab, which will be moving out of its plywood enclosed lonely space in the White Stack building to move to be adjacent to the acoustic lab. And I guess the faculty member who's the scientific lead on that would not be me, it would be Mark Fretz, and who will be here at some point because he's presenting at some point today. So hopefully he'll be here soon. But we have a couple of slides of it. So one more maybe. You can see the big O on the inside. So the black box in front is going to be our new Energy Studies and Building Lab. And the big box is the acoustic testing lab. And let's go to the next one. So it's been designed to test floor ceiling assemblies. There really is no lab that does that on the West Coast. So right now, and some of you who are part of our industry consortium know this, we have to send the samples to various labs in other parts of the country at great expense and wait many months to do them. And one of the labs we've been testing at, because they know we're building this, has now ghosted us. So just kind of unpleasant anyway, because they know we're competition. So we are, in fact, if I'm not mistaken, we're finally getting a permit and we're going to start, which we're very excited about. Yeah, the city of Portland has finally agreed that we could actually build this thing. So it has to be done by sometime in 2027, because that's when the money runs out. But we're very excited that it's going ahead and that we can say that it's being permitted, it's happening. So I think that's the end of that. Right, and then I think everybody has already heard this, but I want to make sure you did. There are two separate programs related to the NSF engines. We got a development award back in 23 for doing strategic planning, and that is still going on. A number of you came to a summit we had last April. We also were involved in the NSF engines program, and there were like 300 applicants. We became one of 71 selected to submit a full proposal, one of 29 for a virtual site visit, which happened in July. We are not one of the 15 finalists, which we found out several months ago, which is very sad. But on the other hand, we are going to continue working on the strategic plan that came out of it. We'll have another summit. And there are many things happening, especially in Oregon, in the mass timber ecosystem now. And we know we're going to keep moving ahead. And we'll use this strategic plan as a guidepost for moving ahead. And that strategic plan is going to also inform something that I was the lead on this, and something that Iain is leading right now, which is why I'm going to be doing all the Q&A. Yeah. So next slide.
Yeah, thanks, Judith. So many of you are also aware that the Oregon Mass Timber Coalition, which got going in 2020, has expanded and morphed into something called the Tech Hub, the Pacific Northwest Mass Timber Tech Hub. Basically, the idea is this is a program operated by the EDA, Department of Commerce, to identify regional clusters around the country that can evolve into globally competitive industry clusters within a 10-year period. And in 2023, we applied on behalf of the Oregon and Washington mass timber industry to be designated as a tech hub, and that was successful. We submitted a large funding proposal in early 2024, which was not successful. But the next round of that competition is open right now, and we're actively preparing a proposal. And we're going to be focusing on kind of three pillars. One is workforce development. One is market and business development, growing the market, expanding, trying to get mass timber more into new market segments like healthcare, industrial, military, and schools and others. And then innovation support and commercialization. That's where the university labs across our region can come into play to help companies to innovate and to test new products, validate new approaches to building designs. So if you're interested in inputting into our planning, please talk to me soon, because the proposal needs to go in on about November 5th, actually. So we were about 3 weeks away from that submission.
The last thing is, we're going to introduce, next slide, you're going to introduce the new members of the REACs.
That's right. Yeah. Before I do that, though, one last thing on the Tech Hub is that we did receive what was called a Catalytic Award from EDA last year. That's being used to do various things that you see on the screen. But one of them is we had a really in-depth market study done of the mass timber industry in this region. So looking at what's the current capacity, what's the potential future capacity, what kind of barriers and challenges exist, and how could those be alleviated? How big could the industry grow? What's the current demand in the marketplace and future demand? And we looked at demand in the Northwest, but also more widely in the Western US and then in North America as a whole. And there's some really great information. We did a presentation by Zoom on Tuesday afternoon. We had about 100 people attend that one. But the recording is going to be available on the Pacific Northwest Mass Timber Tech Hub website. So please talk to us if you can't find that, or check that one out. And the report runs to about 300 pages. It's very in-depth. There's some great information. So we'd really encourage you to have a look at that. It's really probably the best effort so far that I've seen to categorize the true potential of the industry and really kind of drill down. And it's done by people who really understand the mass timber industry itself, as well as the wider supply chain, forestry, sawmills, etc. And I just want to talk about briefly the REACTS Consortium. So this is a group that's been around almost 5 years now. We are a group of 22 companies, and TDI functions as kind of the secretariat of this group. I mentioned before that with the ARS funding, we have industry rank and review proposals and tell us which ones they think are most important to solving challenges in the marketplace. With REACTS, we wanted to go one step further to put industry really in the driving seat in terms of designing new research. And then we have a conversation between our members, our industry members, and our faculty in our network around how to get that work done, how much it's going to cost, how long it's going to take, and all the rest of it. So we just admitted 4 new members. We have Fastenep from Canada, who are really mass timber pioneers. We have Farrell L. Seltzer, engineering firm from the Bay Area. We have Mithun, architecture firm from Seattle area, of course. And then Swinnerton, who have been part of the conversation for a while, but have joined as a member in addition to Timber Labs. So 22 companies. All of these companies are early adopters of mass timber and pioneers. And it's a great brain trust. If you ever think that you want to join this merry band, you can talk to me. We only allow admission once a year, though. We just did that for this cycle. So the next opportunity to join would be next October. And we had a great day of nerding out on mass timber research ideas yesterday, and most of those people are suckers for punishment, so they're back today to nerd out on, mass timber research. But thank you to everyone in the group, and it's been a great journey so far.